Why did they eliminate smokes and S&Ds? Because of the new patch. The new patch, it was much bigger. It apparently played a lot different. So it was only on Invasion where you could use them, which sucks because it wasn't the same, you know, the same as champs, but it's whatever. Sorry, why were there no smokes? Oh, yeah, that's what I just answered. Thoughts on auto vetoes? I mean, they can work. Obviously, you don't want to have them, but if there's a situation where you can use them because other teams that you competed against liked it or liked that map, it's not bad. Right, guys, we vetoed Vista hardpoint for the last, like, what, 2 months? And our hardpoint was never really a problem with that. When was the last time we played Vista hardpoint? But think about it, guys. We were good at the other maps, but also FaZe liked playing it. Toronto would keep it in. New York liked playing it. Seattle liked playing it. LET would play it. Why would we keep playing it? If we personally thought it was our weakest hardpoint map, and all of these teams played it.
Is definitely going to be something that both teams will have to make sure they keep in the back of their mind, because this one.
And we were a good hardpoint team on those other maps, so whatever. Didn't really matter for us.
I mean, it's legitimately perfect hardpoint. Everything felt good. The way they use even cruise missiles was perfectly.
Well, the sub base spawns that different. Middle of the year when they changed it, yeah, kind of.
When the hell have we
it just played out different.
I don't know.
I need to go back and look at that because I don't think it's ever happened. Optic Gaming just came out and just did everything that they wanted. We're challenging gunfights. We're setting up crossfire. We're finding the more effective trades. And even though Simp was able to find a couple kills
again, I don't want to say we were bad at Vista. It's not we weren't good at Vista. It was just our least comfortable out of those 5. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. And the fact that those other teams played it made it even more of a case of like, we don't really need to play it if we're more comfortable in those other maps.
They played it versus Carolina, and they ended up losing it all the way in around 11. But I think my main focus, if you are Optic Gaming, when you have that,
might be a dumb question, but what is the importance of scrims? I assume teams aren't implementing any important straps during scrims, right? So again, strats and respawns are different from like search strats, if that makes sense. You're going to implement strats you think are, how do I explain it? You're going to be doing things on the map that you think are the winning plays in your situations that you're given, right? So you're trying to get in those situations in practice and realize what we should be doing in those situations, what's the most optimal play in those situations. Guys, you're going to be in hundreds and hundreds of different decision-making, situations, and that's for each player on every map. So it's as a team working out what, as a team, you were trying to do goal-wise on specific hills or goal-wise in a specific situation. You're not saying, okay, we're not going to hit the right here because that's the strat we're going to save for LAN. Because you want to get in those situations to be prepared to be like, okay, if we hit the right, what's going to happen here? How are we going to dap off of it if, X guy gets killed, or if we get, two-pieced over here? There are going to be a lot of situations you need to be getting into in practice so that when you are in a match, if you get in that situation, you know what to do in those situations.
We have to work this bomb down, because when you give Atlanta a lot of time around the map, that's when they take it.
And I don't know if other teams do this. I've never been on a team that does this. I've never been like, guys, intentionally flip yourself out on the P3 so we can start, breaking P3s and working on our P3 breaks. You're just, after all those maps that you're going to be playing with throughout, let's say, a week, you're going to be getting in those situations naturally because you're either holding the hill or breaking the hill, right? You're going to be getting in those situations, so you might as well, in those situations, work on what you're given. There's no point being like, okay, chalk it up, don't, flip out right here and try and break this hill, when it's just like, okay, no, just work on your hold. Just work on your hold on that hill. Rewatch the process? I'll rewatch it sometime this week, for sure.
Some of the stats that I have in front of me.
I figure I watched this match with you guys today.
There are only 3 times that Atlanta FaZe have not accrued more than 200 points.
You wouldn't do that in a match. Why would you do that in practice? Exactly. Exactly. So in the match, you wouldn't be like, okay, you know, we're in that P3 situation. Just stick to the P3 hold. You know, that was what you were given. You were going to be getting into breaking P3 situations later on in the week or later on in that day. So there's no point in just chalking, you know, a perfectly good hold situation that you might need to have to work on.
They got was a 128 to 250 versus Toronto on sub base, and that was back during Major 1. So this isn't just a beatdown. This is an embarrassment considering that there's only been 3 other times outside of sub base that they haven't gotten past the 200-point mark, let alone the 100-point club. I know my boy Turtle's already looking through all of his notes to figure out the last time FaZe got 100-point club.
As you take a look at the maps,
4 quals, but that seems to have been mostly corrected as we jump into round number 1.
I think the 6-star against New York was technically the most sound hardpoint OpTic has played. I don't know what would be the most sound one. I mean, that Karachi one that we played in this series was actually really good. I'm trying to think of on the top of my head what was the best one we played though.
There we go.
What's the best advice to get better at the game? Watch your own gameplay and watch professional gameplay. Figure out what decisions you're making, why you're making them, and look at pro gameplay and see what decisions X player would make in that situation. Just take your favorite player or player you think is really good at the game, watch their arrow, and see why they might be making specific decisions based on what's going on in the map.
That bomb being down towards bottom pit, he's trying to get early info of where the
I think watching pro gameplay is probably the best shit you could do.
Try to make that play.
He has some idea where Draza is positioned because there were a couple of shots from Draza over towards these A windows. And now the follow-up tags will also alert him that there's someone nearby, but he does not expect Cell to be up top on the helipad. So no crazy antics in round number 1. Quick opening first bloods for FaZe. I think a lot of that is just doing your homework and knowing that shots is going to hit that route to the top side of that wall.
Gotcha, we were saying, but 6-star trades and spawns reads were next level. Yeah, I would say I think 6-star was obviously our most comfortable throughout the entire year.
So let's just 3-stack it on this side of the map. They find the initial 2 kills. Even with Pret finding that trade, it turns into a 1v3. It's going to be very difficult.
Were you business class on the way back? No.
Keep in mind, when Shotzi was hitting that route at Champs at Major 4, it was with a smoke.
Your boy was...
Doesn't have that.
Your boy was in the blender. Jesus, voice crack. Your boy was in the fucking blender.
Previous events. Abizi, quick.
As an Optic fan, I hated seeing you guys play high rise. Great, thank you for your input.
And a bit of a peculiar spot of his own. Meanwhile, actually,
they waited a whole minute every round for Shotzi to activate top heli. So annoying. Yeah, we had a feeling that they would be doing that. It's unfortunate. Like, it's unfortunate right here that Abizi was playing this spot. This is a ratty spot. Holy shit.
Love an MCW in this position, but he's going to try to make a play happen, and Abizi playing patient gets the better of him.
That's another good homework moment. We saw Shotzi use that same route every single defense, it felt like, over the course of the weekend. And maybe a little bit of information gained by Abizi, but good patience regardless. Leaves Pred completely by himself, finding the first off the window. Secondary shots are beautiful, and he's got help nearby. That's maybe an opportunity for Dashy to keep him up, but not going to happen. Leaves Pred now have to work the 1v2 and possible ace.
He spots Draza. So can he get the info as well?
What S&D map got most affected by no smoke?
Cover that bomb, gets no way. He's going to turn this into a 1v1.
I mean, for us personally, high rise.
Cell, the other side of it.
Which sucks because, like, you played at this map, but whatever.
And the 1v2 ace comes out for Pred. What a moment.
A 1v2 ace, a 2v4.
Want to give you props for the year, man. Resilient to deal with all these nuts, defending your team and helping build champs on your team. Been watching since champs 2017. Glad to see OG back on top. Hey, appreciate it, Drew. Thank you, man.
Comes down through bottom pit, and at that point, I was thinking it's Celium or Draza.
Sib said on Twitter, routine kills he got were hard to get on public accounts. Yeah, I wonder how many pros feel that way. I obviously can't, you know, say anything on that part because I didn't play and I've never played on PC or played professional regardless. Sorry, PC in terms of like the public versus CDL accounts.
More specifically, Pred on 5 in a row now.
Massive.
4.
Greenwall knows no international borders or boundaries. Draza, I believe, did get stunned over towards B elevators. He's slow and labors.
Underrated players this year?
And yep, shots trying to find the
underrated players. I think 04 was really good. Obviously Abuza, but I mean, I don't think he's underrated. I personally voted him as rookie of the year. I voted him in 04, like top 2, I think, when they did all the voting stuff. I thought Seattle played hardpoint really well at the end of the game. At least in the scrims versus us, I think they were playing really like as a team systematically well. Dan, yeah, but I don't classify Dan as underrated, so that's the thing. I think Dan is good as fuck. No, don't get me wrong. I thought Joe DeCease was playing really well, like champs in this event, like very well. But I always thought Dan was a really good core player, 100%.
Watching for the exit, clean. Now it's just down to 1, and Dashy's already isolated.
Yeah, I think everyone knows Dan's back. Dan is for sure gross.
Another AR battle, and Draza the opening peak, clean shots on the corner, and enough for Draza to clutch things up with him finding 3 in the round.
Yeah, that was beautifully played right there out of Draza in the 2v2 scenario. He realized that he was able to spot Kenny sitting through underground on that cross over towards the site. You knew that Dashy was sitting at the top of her paint, so they had to work in this bomb plant. And catches the timing, pushing up through bottom pit for that first kill. And then in the 1v1, the YY out of Dashy gets him out of the preaim. And
the other thing with this, I realized there wasn't any white noise. I guess the crowd wasn't that loud enough anyways, but there wasn't any white noise that they were pumping into the microphones.
Again, mentally, it puts you right back into the driving seat.
I wonder why. I guess it's just because the crowd wasn't loud enough to need it. I don't know. Do coaches speak to players during matches? In between maps, but not during maps. So I can go up and talk, or Damon can go up and talk, but we can't do it while the match is going on, or like while the map is going on, if that makes sense.
Kind of exchange a little bit of a battle with Draza early.
Yeah, you see the way that OpTic Gaming are playing this. Dashy watching from his spawn, that B Street. Fred watching the underground, and the rest of the players from OpTic Gaming watching over towards his bottom blue, because early frags were invested from Atlanta FaZe on this side of the map. So this is potentially where the push is going to come in.
Follow-up nades coming out of OpTic, just making sure no one's playing inside of blue. Shotzzy continues to play off this angle.
Any players on bottom 8 teams that impress in scrims?
Shots are decent though from Shotzzy, just can't quite finish the kill, and that's just an aggressive game tag as both teams reset 4v4 with the BZ now making a move.
Oh, and BZ's ready for this first fight onto Fred.
Again, like Abuza and 04 I thought were really good. I thought Real was really good for Miami too. I think he helped them get better.
He's got a lot to worry about.
I'm trying to think of like off the top of my head.
Kenny trying to follow up behind, not going to work out. Exchange is good for FaZe.
Obviously, Dan and Joe was playing really well towards the end of the year as well.
Whoa, super clean. Bomb though, going to be planted. Does he get an
Were you guys able to scrim in Saudi like a full set? I mean, a couple times, but again,
Really love to have a frag.
That was the biggest checkout for me. We weren't able to scrim at all on the first day when we got there. Like there was so much content and stuff that we needed by the league, and based on our times, we can never have all 4 players there to play a set. And if anything, we wouldn't have been able to play until like 10 or 10:30 at night if another team was even willing to play at that point. That kind of pissed me off. But I'm glad we had a good start to the tournament regardless. But it pissed me off that we weren't able to scrim at all on the Tuesday.
For those gunfights, but
like that Brandon video that they shot was like 3 hours long. And it was only 4 teams, so everyone else was able to practice, but like us, I guess, Carolina, FaZe, and Lore weren't able to scrim during those times.
Single bullet, staying alive, changing up his corners, and then you set up the team fires. In the 2v1 scenario, realizing that Dashy is most likely going to be preaiming the back of his spawn, playing for that guaranteed one-on-one. But a 2-on-1 is a lot better. Atlanta FaZe starting to pull away.
He was a bullet away from killing Cell maybe twice.
Yes.
But the big news, like you mentioned, is the little bit of separation here for FaZe. Doesn't feel as convincing as the
top 4 league kind of became a top 5 league last event with these improvements. Yeah, dude. LAT improved a lot. They played like towards the end of there. They were playing really well. For sure.
With the trophy system down over towards the underground.
Yeah, they're pushing aggressively through bottom pit. So
did anyone do S&D scrims without the no smoke? I mean, just leading up to the event, but not at the event. Teams usually don't scrim S&D at the event.
Yeah, this is just not where you want to be as FaZe's defense. Shotzzy gets tagged down to a bullet, but stays alive. He'll be the one to collect the bomb. Meanwhile, I say Pred had an angle over towards Cell's direction, but as Cell makes his way into the A site, he actually finds the kill. So now it's just to a 2v2, but still there are questions for FaZe on where exactly this Optic offense is.
Selim's at least getting the read on.
Can you explain this round, Troll? I mean, this was just they're playing this setup. I mean, and at the end of the day, like, you're gonna live and die with the setup that you get into. I think Brandon was kind of pissed off because he thought he should have had a better chance to win the gunfight that he had versus Cell, but Cell kind of ripped him.
Time on OpTic's side.
Were we in 3v2 here? Oh yeah, we were. Yeah, this is just AG like basically said he had a free kill. Unfortunately, he didn't get the kill.
Meanwhile,
I mean, that's just.
had an angle over towards Cell's
I mean, there's nothing you
direction,
can do about that.
As Cell makes his way into the
And then it was a setup.
Play
Like I was talking about.
as that bomb does go
But
down. He's pushing his
AG
way
was
behind
pissed at himself because he was like, dude, I just missed a free
Tom
kill.
working
I
behind
mean,
the spawn.
there's nothing,
Crossfire
again,
setup from
nothing you
Optic
could say
Gaming
about
towards
that.
B Street.
time on OpTic's side at the moment.
Cell was on with this event? Yeah,
Cell
especially in the finals, I
taking
think,
their
right?
time, but
He was playing
shots
really
from
well.
Cell are great. But Shotzzy hasn't taken any shots of his own. So now there's question marks on where he's at.
All right, chat. Wait, by the way, was there any
any
other roster move shit that's happening or not?
Too clean with the shots will get FaZe to 4.
And that's all comes down to Celium finding that kill onto Dashi.
Or is everyone just basically announcing free agency?
Okay, they're probably setting a crossfire setup here because he's not watching his back. So Shotzzy has to be at an angle to try to cover his teammate.
Everyone dropped,
the
basically.
Headshot's good enough for the first kill. The trade more effective for the final.
Vegas dropped everyone besides Attach.
With this game.
Insight, Nero, God have all been dropped. Well, guys, restricted free agency is not the same as dropped. Technically, he could. I mean, technically, he's just seeking out. Like, Insight is just seeking out his options. Technically, I guess he could go back to Toronto. Like, I wouldn't. Dropped is very, very different from becoming a free agent. You could still, go back to that team.
Side of the map versus Pred.
So just be careful with the wording there.
Over. So really good save.
But I see what you mean for like some of the other free agents.
Looking to catch some aggression, and oh, what a read this is. Doesn't finish the second, but Draws is right there to pick up on the damage tallied. That's enough for now FaZe to what would you assume be a comfortable 4v2. Make it now a 4v1 as Abizi starts to pop off.
And now you know who the last player alive is. It's going to be Dash.
Any Challengers players that impress you? I mean, I'm still on the Paul X train. I always thought he was good. Again, the only thing, like, when I was coaching him back in New York was like some mental stuff. But I think he's worked on that. Like, I always thought he was a good, solid core player. So.
Pull 1v4 would be Dashy. This one, maybe a little bit more hard pressed, but still, the snap, the center is decent. Not enough to deal any further damage to the remaining couple of members. And with that now, FaZe, again, it feels weird to see a 5-1 tally because these rounds have been so tremendously close.
But it's Atlanta FaZe doing their homework. Yes. Once again, they're realizing, okay, we have shut down the OpTic's play over towards Helipad. Shotzzy's not going to jump up on that angle to try to contest for that.
I've watched the process like 8 or 9 times since it came out. Every time I watch it, the Bruce scene giving me cold chills. Bro, the first time I watched the Bruce scene, I legit I started tearing up a little bit. And then, bro, when we lifted up the trophy, I was bawling for like 10 seconds, bro. Straight up.
We have shut down
that shit meant a lot to us.
So. To try to switch this game up in the pacing department.
Yes. And especially for the Brandon thing, I was just, I obviously was proud with everything that he'd gone through and then ended up, realizing that goal. That shit was getting me emotional. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just the fact that even with first bloods tallied, OpTic have fought back pretty considerably. Not enough to make up on the scoreboard, though. So now it's going to have to be 5 in a row for OpTic Gaming. Otherwise, it'll be a very convincing map number 2 for FaZe. Abizi thinking he's got.
This was so unfortunate. I mean, we were already down 1-5, but team need, and then Abizi's already pushed in the corner. We don't know that he's here.
Pops back open.
Man.
He's got every
other nothing went our way in that round.
To catch Shotzzy before he can jump to safety, and now it's just down to Kenny. His position is known. Kenny gets the beatdown though on the Cell. Now it's just down to Abizi who finds the final 1v1, and what a bounce back for FaZe. 6-1 in map number 2.